Popola, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, my name is Popola.
Yeah, good evening.
I'm joining from Nigeria, Ibadan.
From Nigeria, okay, that's good. Which state?
Oyo State, to be precise.
Oyo State, fantastic, fantastic. You're welcome, you're welcome. Any other person? Any other person?
My name is Uzoma.
Uzoma Ezife, okay. Which state are you joining from?
I'm joining from Osun State.
Wow, that's great, Osun State. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. So who else? Who else?
My name is. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good evening. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Esiogene. I'm joining from Rivers State. Thank you.
Fantastic, fantastic. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. I can see. Okay, I can see our speaker is there. I can see Dr. Noah. I can see Gabriel. Gabriel, where are you joining from? Gabriel, are you there? Okay, I think the number is reasonable now. We can start. So on our agenda, we have the opening prayer, and then the opening prayer in place of the opening prayer is in the form of national anthem. So we'll just play the national anthem to kickstart off properly. Okay, the national anthem can help us with that. All right, thank you very much for that. The next item is a welcome address by Mr. Nsikan, my humble self. Okay, so once again, welcome on board, everyone. Welcome you, our speaker from United States of America, Mr. Yusuf Abimboye. You're welcome. We welcome our BOT at the background. We welcome you members, our ESCO. We welcome everybody to this webinar series, our third edition. The last one was a beautiful one. We got so much testimony here and there, and I'm sure we learned so much during our last webinar. Of course, the take home for me was ability for you to sell yourself. Now, nobody will sell yourself for you. Package yourself, the work you've done that Dr. Franklin told us, the work you've done, package them on your links and then your CV, put them in there. Let it be in the faces of the places you're looking out to get job from. So it was a well impactful session that time, our last webinar. And then this particular one promises to be a great one as well. So you're welcome. Fasten your seatbelt. You'll learn so much from our great experts, from the United States of America. So you're welcome. So a little brief about Nsdabie. If you hear us talk about Nsdabie is just the acronym Nsdabie for the full name, Nigeria Society of Data Analysts and Business Intelligence Experts. And then what do we do? We are a professional body associated, we are a professional association dedicated to empowering data professionals in Nigeria. And we have a vision, we have a mission. Our mission is to be a leading professional association in Nigeria, championing best practices and contributing to the nation's socio-economic growth. And then, of course, our mission is simple: to foster innovation and excellence in data-driven decision-making to drive national development. And so that is what we are for. A lot of people have been queuing, to join us, and we're working on those ones. And then many more will queue to join, because it is a hub for professionals in that sector, the data analysts, the business intelligence experts. They are so happy, excited that we came on board. And there's one thing that we are going to do. Imagine a society like the Western world, the America, the UK. Imagine them having a structured system. And then imagine us in Africa, Nigeria particular, having data-driven sectors in all sectors of economy. Guess what that would do? It will reduce corruption to the barest minimum. When you know the number of hospitals you have in your country per state, when you know the number of deaths, when you know the number of births, so much. So we are here to disrupt the status quo, like I always say, and we'll be churning out experts from our association, because we'll be doing trainings, and upon trainings, so many we'll be learning so much, to spread the gospel. So you're welcome once again. You're welcome to this insightful session, webinar series. Okay, so you're welcome. Next is our opening remark from our president, Mr. Abdullahi. Mr. Abdullahi, are you here?
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Director, for that wonderful remark. Good afternoon, the TV guest colleagues. The Nigerian Society of Data Analytics and Business Intelligence Experts, I welcome you all to the third edition of the webinar series, Data-Driven Discovery, Harnessing the Power of AI for National Advancement. At Nsdabie, our mission is rooted in fostering innovation, advancing data literacy, empowering professionals across sectors to leverage data and intelligence for sustainable development. This topic is not only timely, but essential as we stand at the intersection of artificial intelligence and national transformation. The potential of AI to revolutionizing the healthcare, education, governance, and economic planning cannot be overstated. We are honored to have. Hello, can you hear me? Am I audible enough?
Yes, you are.
Thank you very much. We are honored to have with you we are honored to have with us distinguished speaker, Mr. Kimboy Yutu, a seasoned computer programmer and the founder of the Egyptian AI, whose work exemplifies the kind of impact we envision through data and technology. I commend our program and training team led by Correct and our media and publicity unit, Mrs. Katrina.
for their tireless efforts in organizing today's session. I also appreciate each of you for taking the time to be part of the learning experience. Let us engage and ask questions, share insight as we explore how AI can serve as a tool for inclusive growth and national progress. Thank you very much, all. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's
Thank you. Thank you very much, President of Nsdabie. Thank you for that. Okay. Next on the agenda, we'll have our Director of Media, Katrina, to introduce our speaker to us. Okay, she's saying she can't share her screen. Okay. She's saying she can't share her screen. Miss Katrina, are you there? You can just read out. You can read it out.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
All right, thank you. So,
you can share your
taking
screen.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Okay, it's loading gradually.
Okay.
It's loading gradually. Fantastic. We can see now.
All right. Introducing our speaker for today's webinar, Mr. Akimboye Yusuf. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
We can't.
Okay, I can hear you from my side.
Can you see my screen also?
I can see your screen, but your screen is not moving. It's not scrolling down.
Maybe I should stop
I can also
sharing.
hear and view the screen.
Yeah, your screen is back. You can try scroll down. Okay.
Thank you. So we take a short bio of Mr. Akimboye Yusuf. Mr. Akimboye Yusuf hails from Oyo State, Nigeria. He graduated with a BTech degree in computer science from Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Womoso, and holds an MS degree in advanced computing from Morgan State University, USA. He has numerous certifications in areas related to machine learning, data science, and cloud computing. His area of interest is the application of machine learning in healthcare, and he is currently working as a computer programming instructor at Minnesota State Community and Technical College, USA. He is the founder of Medifred AI and a developer of federal Python packages, including anything password. So over to you, Director of Programs. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. So, our speaker, you can have the floor, Mr. Kimboye. You can have the floor now.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, good afternoon here, or good evening from here.
Good
Yeah,
evening.
good afternoon. I believe you can all hear me.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, that's good. Even though I don't know what's wrong with my system here, I find it difficult to hear you. But if you can hear me,
we can hear you. We can see you clearly.
1 minute, please. Let me just. Okay, so now I will be sharing my slide, and like they said, my name is Akimboye Yusuf, and I'm a computer programming instructor at Minnesota State Community and Technical College, where I teach computer programming. And aside teaching, I'm also a software developer. I develop software, and part of what I'll be discussing today is one of the softwares that I developed, which is Medifriend AI, which is a generative AI which you can interact with, you can relate with to ask medical questions, because my area of interest is application of machine learning in healthcare. So before then, I'll be discussing about AI, what AI is, how we can use AI to develop the nation, what we need to do to in order to use AI to develop the nation, most especially Nigeria, because that would be the area of focus, Nigeria. And also I'll be comparing the Nigeria with some developed countries, how they have used AI to improve the country. So let me try and share my slide. Can you all see my slide?
Not yet.
No, sir. Okay, yeah, if you can see my slide, I will start from, I believe the Professor Noah is sharing this slide already, so I can continue with the presentation. So from the first slide, which is the topic of the presentation, which is harnessing the power of AI for national advancement. So before I begin, I don't want to assume that we are all familiar with the technology behind artificial intelligence, or let me say machine learning, which is my area. So I will first of all introduce us to what AI is and how we can use it to develop the nation. I'm still having problem with hearing from, I don't know what is wrong from my side here, but I'm trying to rectify that. But in case there's any question or anything while I'm presenting, you can just send a message. There's a chat where you can send a message. So
Yeah.
if you can hear me clearly, so I can continue with
Yes,
the
we can.
presentation. So
We
I
can hear
have
you.
this,
We can
and
hear you.
like I said, I'll be talking about AI and how we can use it for the development of the nation. So I have my outline here where I'll be introducing us, then I'll explain the role of AI in national development, why we need it in Nigeria, and the applications of AI in different sectors in Nigeria or outside Nigeria, and also the challenges of that we face in Nigeria while implementing AI, and also strategic recommendation of of these challenges that we are facing, and also discuss the vision for the future, and also the call to action, and we conclude. So after the conclusion, I will also be introducing us to my application. It's an ongoing project, but I want us to see how AI works, how generative AI works, and see what you can do from your own side to implement something related to that or something better in order to improve the development of the nation. So this is the outline, and to the introduction, what is AI? So AI is just a system or a machine that can mimic the thinking ability of human being. This is a machine that can reason the same way human being, or similar to the way human will reason, the same way human being learn, the same way human being reason, and the same way humans solve problem. So the problem solving ability of human being is programmed into a computer system, and this system behaves exactly like human being. It reasons exactly like human being. So while I'm saying this, I want us to have, there are some things I'll be discussing. I'll be talking about what AI is and what AI is not, because there are different beliefs about AI. Even some people believe AI is evil. Some people think it's part of the things that will, destroy the world. Different belief of people when it comes to artificial intelligence. Because they see it as a system that has its own mind, that can think, and they believe there's a soul inside this computer. So there are different beliefs from different people, and these are part of those things I'll be discussing today, what AI is and what AI is not. So, like I said, artificial intelligence is the ability of a machine, to mimic the way human beings think. It mimics human intelligence. So I will start with what AI is. So the first one is AI has the ability to learn from data. So that's where machine learning comes in. AI learn from existing data. So for example, let's say there's a machine that has the ability to predict if a student will graduate in the final year. It's a machine that's learned from existing data, probably based on after feeding it certain data, we can conclude that, okay, people from this particular background performs very well in their education. So computer tool will learn from that data and can conclude that, okay, by the end of the semester or the end of this 4-year course, this student from this particular background will graduate or not. So that's what AI is. It learns from data. Also, you can use AI to recognize patterns. For example, facial recognition, to identify voices, also to detect handwriting. If if you're signing a check and you want to check if it's a fraudulent check, or if if I'm forging your signature, AI should be able to recognize patterns. Also, AI should be able to understand languages. There's some AI now that when you speak a language, it detects, okay, this is the particular language you're speaking, English language, French language. Also, translation, we use all these things for, natural, it also works like a natural language. So also for making decisions, you use AI to make, decisions. For example, if you must have visited some websites where when you buy some things, they will recommend some other products to you. They will tell you, okay, if you're buying this, then let's suggest this for you. So AI is, AI system is in place to, do all these things. Also, problem solving. Also, AI will help you to solve problems. Like, for example, route optimization. If there are two routes to a particular location, our AI can predict the best route for you. So these are, part of things that AI can do. Do you understand? So the next thing I'll be talking about is what AI is not. And that's, some wrong belief about AI, what people see AI to be, but they are not. So these are the things I'll be talking about here. And like I said, I know that we have researchers here, we have professors here, we have people that are familiar with AI, but I don't want to conclude that all of us here are, familiar with this concept of AI. There are some people that, even though there is AI, but you don't know what AI is or what AI is not. So I'll be talking about what AI is not. If after this, I've discussed what AI is, in solving problem, making decisions, understand languages, and so on and so forth. So what AI is not is that AI is not human intelligence. It doesn't replace human intelligence. So AI can mimic certain tasks like maybe facial recognition, generate text, and so on and so forth. But AI, doesn't think, feel, or understand like human being. And that's why there are a lot of researches going on developing humanoid robots, like robot that is very close to human being, even though it's a difficult task due to the fact that you can't build a system as of today. There's no system that can feel like human being. So there are a lot of ongoing research on implementing a robot that can think like human being, that can reason like human being. So like I said, AI is not human intelligence. It's not human intelligence. So it has no emotion, it has no consciousness, and also it has no self-awareness. So you have to we have to know that AI is not human intelligence. Also, another thing that AI is not is that AI is not a magic or science fiction. We've watched different movies where, for example, if you are a lover of, let's say, James Bond, some of us when we were young, you see different movies where they, use some cars, and we believe, okay, um, after the invention of AI, let me say when AI, after the trend of the AI, and some people will be like, oh, probably that's what I saw in certain movies and this and that. And they start to believe it's science fiction. It's not a science fiction. There's no magic behind this technology. So AI is not a magic. It's not like a robot from a movie that can instantly solve a problem. And AI works within the limit of its training data. So basically, AI works based on data you feed in. So it's nothing but just, making use of data, learning from the data you feed in, which you will understand as I proceed with this lecture. Another thing I want to talk about is that AI is not always correct. AI is not always correct. So most of the time, if you for those that use generative AI softwares or that have been to generative AI website like the ChatGPT, you will notice that there are sometimes they will give you some answer and you will not be okay with this answer. That's because AI is not always correct. And people like, some researchers, like if you are, expert in this field, developing different AI tools, different models, when you want to interpret your results, you will see something like the accuracy of this software, of this model is 95%, it's 90%. That means your 90%, your model or your software is always 90% correct, but you still have 10% incorrect. That means it's not always 100% correct. So you have to know that AI is not always 100% correct, except if you build a model and you are seeing the result that you are getting 100% accuracy, and which is very rare. You see something like 99% as as far as you can go. Although in some cases you see 100%, but also know that your AI, that's artificial intelligence, learn from the data you train it with. So that means if you train it with a particular data and you throw in a kind of a different data, that means you will not get an accurate result. So another thing that AI is not, is that AI is not a replacement for humans. Just like I said earlier, that it can't replace human being totally. Even though you have autonomous car, that is a car that can drive itself, you have different technologies that are coming up now, there are still people behind it that are monitoring the activities of these things, because they know, like I said, they're not accurate, they're not 100% working fine. They know they are prone to errors. For example, I saw a recent video of an autonomous car that had issue when in certain country, when, or let me say it should be in all countries, when certain cars or service cars are going, car must wait for them to pass, like let's say ambulance, fire truck and things like that are passing. You have to move to a side for them to pass. But this autonomous vehicle, in that video I saw that probably it was not properly trained to obey such traffic. So it was waiting for, oh, hold on please, let me see. So this vehicle was, waiting for traffic while this car was passing. So, but instead of it to move to a side, it didn't obey the traffic and was, obstructing traffic. So this part of the things you need to understand, that they are not always 100% correct or accurate, and also know that they are not a replacement for human beings yet. So it enhances human ability, but does not fully replace complex human tasks. And another thing I'll be discussing here that AI is not, is that AI is not bias free. AI is not bias free. Bias in AI is something of research. It's what people that are experts in this field are looking into, the bias in AI. And for those that are not researchers in this field, I will explain what bias is in AI by giving us certain examples for us to have a better understanding of what bias in AI is. So an example of bias is in America here, we have auto insurance. Auto insurance in different states are different. Someone in Maryland will pay more than someone in, let's say, places like a state called North Dakota. And the reason is because they have a kind of system in place that checks certain information about you. And based on the fact that they've trained this system to identify, certain futures from the information provided. They can predict, okay, you are paying probably $300 for your auto insurance. And this is where the bias comes in this kind of a system. If, let's say I'm the developer of this system, after training this system with data from, let's say, a state like Maryland. Maryland is a state that is, how will I put it? It's, I want to be careful with certain words, but it's a state that is, we have some race that are very, we have certain race there that, sometimes some of them don't care about how they drive. There are a lot of reports about, car theft, a lot of reports about accidents, and so on and so forth, and use this data to train your model. So definitely people, if I, apply from that state, I'm going to pay more auto insurance because they know that there's high possibility that you have accident there, or maybe they steal my car and things like that. Why people in the other state, North Dakota, pay less? Because, we don't have much people in North Dakota. There are certain race that they believe they know how to drive. Let's say they observe the driving rules. The theft rate is not as much as, the other state and things like that. And they train the system with this data as well. So the bias there now is, let's assume there's somebody that is living in this North Dakota that, knows how to drive, is driving, following rules. And after a while, you move to the bigger state and you want to insure your car, a new car in the other state. Now, this system will be biased because you will put in a different state and it will assume you are part of those that doesn't know how to drive or probably drive recklessly, and it will just, you have to pay more in auto insurance. And this is part of the bias in artificial intelligence. So AI is not free from bias. It's, thin scientists are working on to make sure they reduce it. Even though it's there, they are still finding ways, or we are still finding ways to reduce the bias in artificial intelligence. Also, if you also consider application system, maybe a system that is giving, let's say, job application, and you're applying for a job, and you train your system based on certain schools, maybe students from certain schools, there's a belief that they perform better than people from other schools. In this case, there is possibility that we have a brilliant student from a school that is not, or let me say that people see as, as a school that is not that good, but we still have at least a student that is performing well. So in that case, your AI system will be biased, and even before you call that brilliant student for interview, you would have rejected the student. Your system would have rejected the system, so the student. So this is, part of those things that we need to understand about AI. AI is not bias free, though there are still a lot of research that are going on how to make it better, how to reduce bias in AI, how to build a model that will be bias free. So AI, like I said, it's not bias free. It can reflect and even amplify human biases if not properly designed or monitored. So in conclusion, AI is a tool, not a person, not a magic, and not perfect. So these are the things I want us to understand about AI, and I believe by now we are all on the same page on what AI is and what AI is not. So why do we need AI in the why AI matters in the 21st century? Why is it important in the 21st century? Like I was discussing with someone, I said AI is like the new gold, is like the new petroleum, is what every country is trying to be the best among all nations when it comes to AI technology. And that's why recently there's this policy, or let's say order, that was declared by President Trump, Executive Order of 14179 of January 2023. So there was this order that said removing barriers to American leadership in AI intelligence. And what does this mean? If you look at the definition of this policy, they said, or let me say, they said they want to develop an artificial intelligence action plan within few days. And this policy is to enhance Americans' global AI dominance in order to promote human flourishing, economic competitiveness, and national security. So what they are trying to say here is they want to be at the front. They want to be the leader when it comes to AI technology. That's because they know that that's where the world is right now. AI is not the future, it is the present. That's what everybody is doing. There's a lot of competition, between two countries. China are trying to make sure they have the best driverless vehicle, autonomous vehicle. Different countries are coming up with different ideas to make sure their country are in the ahead of other countries. And most developed countries are investing in a big way because they know this will help to develop the nation. And that's what we'll be discussing about. And also recently, US launched a project called Stargate. It's called Stargate Project. And they invested $500 billion to this project. And they believe this project will help them to solve certain problems like disease detection, to detect, to be able to produce drugs to, for certain diseases like terminal diseases, cancers, maybe HIV, and so on and so forth. So they are also working with people in bioinformatics and AI to make sure they come up with new drugs to solve, to cure a terminal disease. Now imagine a country comes up with a drug today with the use of AI, quantum computer, and stuff like that to produce a new drug. Now, if you imagine, let's assume a country like Nigeria now, develop, discover such drug that will eventually, make us to be at the forefront of, this research, and that will be very, very, to be a good discovery. So that's why we need AI. That's why AI is important in the 21st century. It is very important because it's what is driving the nation now. It's what every country is working on. They're investing in a big way. Just imagine having, putting $500 billion in infrastructure just to have infrastructure in place to build, different types of AI to solve different medical problems. So I will be going to the next slide now, which is the role of AI in national development. Just as part of those things I've discussed earlier, AI is not just a technical tool, it is a transformative force for national development. So countries that embrace AI with the right strategy, ethics and infrastructure will lead in the 21st century knowledge economy. So for nations like Nigeria, the timely adoption and localized innovation in AI can leapfrog development orders and position the country as a digital leader in Africa and beyond. So that's why we need AI in Nigeria. So why do we need AI now, and why do we need to work on this? So we know that there is rapid growth in the population of the country, around 130, 230, 250 million people are there, and there's more pressure on certain areas or certain sectors like education sector. We now see number of students that are writing JAM for them to enter into colleges. We see, a lot of problems with healthcare, where we have uh, uh, the total number of nurses to patients, total number of doctors or medical practitioners to patients is very low. So with the, application of AI, something like, telemedicine, things like when you have AI in place that can easily predict a disease instead of taking your time to do MRI scan and so on and so forth. So AI will help in this. Also, we know that the country is over dependent on, we depend so much on oil, and this has also limited the source of income for the nation. So that we need to diversify. We need to think of the latest technology, how we can come up with new inventions to that we can even sell out of the country. People can patronize us. So also we have youth unemployment and underemployment, need urgent tech-based solution, and AI can support service delivery, governance, and job creation. So I will be talking about the implementation of how we can make use of AI in different sectors, like healthcare, agriculture, education, and so on and so forth. But I'll be fast with all this because of the time, and we will move into showing us one of the projects I've worked on, which is the MediFriend, or let me say it's an ongoing project. So AI in health sector, and this I've mentioned a few things about this. It helps to improve diagnostics. Like this, that is, if you want to diagnose patients with the help of AI, this can help us to identify certain diseases. Can help us. For example, now I'll be using my master's project in US to explain this area. I developed a model that can identify brain tumor. So if there's, after MRI scan, there's this model can identify if a brain has tumor. So it doesn't have to, you don't have to wait for, doctors before you can even, within a short period of time, just scan the image, pass it through the model, and the model will tell you, okay, there's possibility of, there's possibility that we have tumor in this scan, in this image. So you don't have to wait for a long period of time before you detect that. So it's improved diagnostic. That's what AI does in healthcare. So using image recognition for diseases like tuberculosis, cancer, malaria, and so on and so forth. Also provide AI-powered telemedicine, so which expand care to rural areas, supports its data analytics. For those that are data analytics too, you can come up with different, based on data of patients, you can easily predict some things. Like, okay, there's possibility that this person will have this particular disease and things like that. And I will be giving us a case study here, an example of an hospital here called Moyo Clinic. It's one of the top hospitals here that, apart from the fact that they are hospital, they are also into research. And recently they also developed they developed a model that can easily detect heart failure. So if there's the presence of weak heart pump, so their software, their model can easily detect all these things. So with AI can help, to solve all these problems. And also going to AI in agriculture, now we hear things like remote sensing, making use of drones and things like that. So we can implement AI to increase yield, farm yield. So there are models now, there are systems, there are softwares that can scan the farm, the image of the scan from up, and tell you that, okay, these certain areas of this field has this plant disease, this particular disease. Plant diseases, AI can help to dictate this, and you can easily, treat this plant in order to have in order to increase your farm yield. Also, AI in education, we have AI tutors, because of the fact that generative AI is now thing of something that is trending now. We all know ChatGPT. We now have, different softwares that can even generate videos. So we can make use of this AI to generate, learning materials like videos for students that are finding difficult to have access to quality teachers. I mean, brilliant teachers. There are some. I don't know if that's the case now, but there's what I heard recently is that most people now, which is I understand now, try to take their children to private colleges, private secondary schools, and we believe that they teach more in private or better in private colleges than the other ones. So, but with the use of AI, if let's assume there is a platform somewhere that can generate tutorials for mathematics, and different students, either you're in public school, private schools, you have access to the same online tutors that will teach you how to, solve certain problem in mathematics, physics, and, things like that. That will, also help in education. So generative AI now, you can use it to, develop certain learning materials that will help students. Also, it also helps to predict dropout. So if you have a model that can easily predict that, okay, this student, there's possibility that this student will drop out or is going to fail a particular course, that will also help the management of a particular school to attend to the student, help the student in one way or the other. So AI helps in education. So AI in governance and public services. So AI can help with automating services like passport application, business registration, and tax filing. Some countries are using it already. For example, document verification. You want to verify, okay, is this document genuine? Is this birth certificate genuine? So you can build a model that can dictate if a document is genuine, that can help you verify the certificate, if it is genuine or not. We also have using AI chatbots that that can provide a real-time responses to citizens' inquiry. So if you have certain chatbots in place that can help people to solve certain problems, like you have a question about passports, you can easily chat with the chatbot and you get your answer from that chatbot. So here I can help with this in AI governance and public services. Also applying machine learning to monitor budget and detect corruption pattern. We can have a model in place that can help us to, detect corruption. That can help us detect corruption, and also enabling smarter policy making based on real-time national data. And I think the last one I will be discussing here on the application of AI is for national security, application of AI for national security. The example that I'll be giving here is for those that are following the fight between Ukraine and Russia. We saw recently on news that, Ukraine came up with an idea of, using a kind of drone to, attack Russia. And this is part of what, I'm trying to let us know what countries are doing. They are trying to see that, okay, AI is applicable in all areas, even at the war front now. We have robots. People, nations are building robots that can go to the war front. Gone are the days when I was in secondary school, when we used to say, okay, in Africa, Nigeria has the best foot soldiers, things like that. But nowadays, different nations are coming up with different technologies, developing, drones, intelligent drones that can identify a particular location and say, okay, this is the location and things like that. Different companies are coming up with different ideas of using AI. So AI, part of the security, you can use it for facial detection, for behavior recognition. For example, there are some stores in some part of the world that they don't have to monitor you at the store. You work freely, but there are some systems. They have some software systems in place that detect irregular behavior. Probably there's a kind of, you want to steal something, and there's this software predict that, okay, this person is probably a threat at this store, trying to steal something at this store. Then it's notified them and they take action. So also predictive policing and also cyber security in AI. So cyber security in AI, and that we know it also help you prevent hacking, cyber crime. There's AI that can easily predict if, let's say, there's some information coming from certain websites, certain IP addresses. There are systems in place that can detect, okay, this is possible an hacker or a fraud. Things like this, AI can help to do all these things. So the next thing I'll be talking about is Nigeria versus the developed nations, because I believe we have, because my area of focus is Nigeria comparing with other nations. And I'll be talking about if we want to develop a nation with, that is at the front of AI development, or, you need to put certain things in place. If you want to be at the front when it comes to the AI technology, there are certain things you need to put in place, which Nigeria, I don't want to say they are not doing it, or probably they are not as fast as other nations. And the first one is that policy making. There must be a policy that we should have in place. Though I saw something online, they said, people can search online, they said National Artificial Intelligence Strategy. Well, it's just a draft. I saw, if you check it online, I have a copy here, National Artificial Intelligence Strategy. That's a draft of why some companies have, they have started implementing their policy on AI. Like I mentioned, USA that, did redefine their policy this year to make sure that they are at the front of this technology. So we have a draft in Africa, in Nigeria actually, which I don't know if I'm not sure they've implemented that, but there's a draft in Nigeria. So we need to work on this draft. We need to work on this policy. If Nigeria wants to be at the front of this technology, we need to implement certain policies. And that's I'll be explaining later in one of these slides. Well, because of the time, another thing about Nigeria versus the developed nation is that we have limited academic research compared to developed countries like US, China, and some other countries. Their government are investing in this technology, while the government in Nigeria are not spending as much as these countries. For example, you go to some schools and you hear they give them as much as $1 million just for them to, for their master's students or PhD students to work on a particular AI research, to probably to detect a disease or to predict a disease and things like that. And we have some other things here, which because of my time, I will just skip and go to the next slide, which I'll be discussing about the policy making in Nigeria, when how to implement this policy, what a good policy is in order to have to be at the front of AI technology. Okay, so one of the things I'll be discussing here is before I go to the challenges Nigeria faces, I will be talking about how to implement a national AI policy. So if you want to have AI policy, we need to have a clear goal, a well-defined AI policy. We need to have that. Also, we also need strategic funding. We need to have strategic funding, and also in order to implement a good national AI policy, we also have to have a regulatory framework. Because of the time, I would have loved to talk more about this, but it's almost, we have a few minutes left now. So to implement in a good national AI policy, like I said, there must be a clear goal, there must be strategic funding, like research and development, startup ecosystems, build infrastructures. Then also we need to have a regulatory framework. That is, effective AI policy must include ethical standard, data governance, and risk mitigation. Also, in addition, we need to train the workforce. We need to train the workforce. So these are the challenges we are facing in Nigeria. We don't have enough infrastructures, limited broadband, energy issues, server accesses, and things like that. These are some of the challenges we are having. So the government needs to, do more on this. Also, funding constraint, like I mentioned in the previous slide, there's funding constraints. Many researchers in different universities don't have access to grants. They don't have access to grants, like countries like US, Germany, and the rest of the world. Also, another thing is data scarcity. Now, data scarcity, when you're talking about, like I told you, AI or machine learning learn from data. Most countries have this kind of server or kind of computer somewhere where they have enough data to train their system, to train the AI system or AI machine. They have enough data. But in Nigeria, there's limited data, and this is what is causing this is because of the first two, infrastructure and funding constraints. Because to have a server that we house like maybe, let's say 20 gig of data, 50 gig of data, and you have like, let's say 50 of that. So you need a system in place that can handle a large data. So you have, and also a good server that, anytime I want to access data from this, the server must be in place. And also funding also affects the data scarcity, because the researcher that needs to go, let's say you want to get data from a particular hospital now. Want to get data from a particular hospital, it's something you need to spend money on, and these researchers don't have fund to do all these things. Also, low AI literacy, compared to developed nations, we still have some people, like I started with what AI is not. Some people still have certain belief about AI, that AI is evil, AI is bad. So some people still don't have full understanding of this technology. So we need public awareness and workforce training to, enlighten these people on us. And another thing is the ethical concerns. So without proper regulation, AI could deepen inequality and abuse rights. So these are the recommendations. So in order to use AI effectively, Nigeria should implement a national AI policy. So we should go beyond drafting out a policy. We should implement this policy. We shouldn't just say, okay, we have a draft somewhere. A draft without implementation is still as useless as not having anything in place. So we need to implement this with a clear goal, and also fund different AI projects, and also find a way to regulate the use of AI in the country. Invest in research and development, train workforce. They should take AI to start training undergraduate students, even secondary school students. They should introduce it to their, AI as a course in secondary schools and things like that. They should introduce that to the workforce, to the students. Also, we should also support startups. Nigeria should support startup and establish ethical frameworks to guide AI use in security, justice, and civil rights. So to the next slide now. I'm on this slide now, which is, implements a national AI policy. So without a cohesive and forward-thinking national AI policy, Nigeria risks falling behind in the global digital race. Such a policy should serve as a backbone for coordinated action among government, academia, industry, and civil society. So vision for the future: imagine a Nigeria where every farmer uses smart sensors and real-time data. Imagine a Nigeria where students learn with AI-powered platforms tailored to their learning style. Also imagine a Nigeria where public services are delivered efficiently and transparently through automation. And also imagine a Nigeria where startups drives AI innovation that solve real Nigerian problems. So this vision is possible, but requires national coordination and long-term investment. And call to action now: what everybody must do to make sure the country is in front when it comes to AI. So the government must lead with visionary policy and funding. Universities must develop local research and produce AI professionals, and private sectors must collaborate with government to scale solutions. Citizens, like everybody, and civil societies must advocate for equitable, inclusive use of AI. So if we have now, Nigeria can not only adopt AI, but become an exporter of homegrown AI solutions. So conclusion: AI is a key to unlock a more advanced, inclusive, and prosperous Nigeria. It offers a change to solve persistent problem faster and more intelligently. And the responsibility lies with all sectors to build AI-powered features that benefit everyone. Let us not watch the world move ahead. We must shape our own future. So that's the end of this presentation. I don't know if I should, show my my application before we go to question and answer, or we should go to question and answer first? What do you think? Should we?
Yes, sir. You can go ahead, sir.
Go to question and answer, or should?
You can go ahead, sir, before the question and answer.
I'm still having issue, hearing, but we can just. I think there's a chat here, which is a chat.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay, so I received information that I can go ahead with.
Yes, sir.
Presenting or showing my application, which is medifriend.ai.
Yes,
I'm ready to collaborate. Actually, if let's say to welcome any idea, different information about this application, and I will be sending the link to us. Let me send to. So I'll be sharing the professor will be helping me with the sharing. He will help me share the screen now. That's this let me see if I can share from my side here. Come. Okay. So kindly help me share, Professor, from your side. Professor Akande.
I'm on it.
One second, please. I'm trying to see if okay, yeah. So we have MediFriend here. Like I said, it's an ongoing project, and it's a generative AI application. What is generative AI? Just an AI that can come up with different content, text, audios, videos, and so on and so forth. You have, I believe a lot of us are familiar with GPT, and that's an example of generative AI. So this is what my application is all about. It's a generative AI that solves or that answers medical questions. So this is a domain-specific generative AI. Domain-specific is that it's restricted to certain domain. It's restricted to certain domain. It's not a general generative AI like the ChatGPT. So for example, if you scroll up and if you scroll to the, if you go up, you will see charts. Just click on the charts. Yeah, click on charts, click to charts. Yeah, so this is the interface for chatting. And if, for example, you search for what is MEDI, just say what is MEDI, MEDI, the short form from medical, MEDI. So this now directly, this will give you an answer that is related to medicine. That's what it's saying. That's what the generative, a domain-specific generative AI is. But this same what is MEDI, if you ask ChatGPT, it will tell you which type of media you're referring to, because it's not a domain-specific AI. So it will ask you, if you go to ChatGPT and say what is MEDI, I believe, except if there is an update on that, but just say what is MEDI. just say what is MEDI. So the ChatGPT will, be confused because it's not a domain-specific generative AI. So it's telling us which of these do you want. So this is not domain-specific, but the MediFriend is domain-specific. It's basically for people in healthcare sector, people that want to ask questions that are related to medicine. You understand? So that's what this software is all about. So like I said, it's an ongoing project. If you have any suggestion, if you have any contribution, if you have anything you want to, add to it, you can always add to it. So anything that is related to, med to medicine, you can ask the question. So this, you have this. So, but this here, let me give you a clue of how this works. This is just a type of generative AI that is making use of the RAG system. There's something we call the RAG system, RAG, and RAG stands for Retriever Augmented Generation. Retriever Augmented Generation. So it's the generative AI is making use of the RAG system. And what does it mean? It means the idea behind it is we train this model with lot of documents that are related to medicine, like drugs, different diseases, different textbooks, different PDF materials from different sources. So we can always extend the knowledge base. We can always add more files for us to train this particular model. So it's making use of the RAG system. And I don't want to go too deep into the technology behind this software, but that's basically what this does. It's get information from this document, and you get the response with the use of open AI API. That's why you get a kind of response as if you're chatting with human being, or as if you're chatting with a doctor. So that's just the idea behind it. And if there's any question, I think we can go to the questions now and answer some of the questions if you have any question.
Okay. Wow. Hello, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
So I believe that's the end of the presentation.
Okay.
Thank you for listening.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate this, but I don't know why you can't hear us. We appreciate your presentation. Definitely, there are quite a number of questions to be asked. In fact, I have one now, but I don't know. How will you hear me? How do I do this? Okay. Question and answer. All right, guys. If you have any question, you can use the question and answer icon there. You can, since our speaker can't hear us, you would have raised your hand so that you ask directly, but this is going to be a little. So in the question and answer, you can actually use that, drop your question. So maybe we'll direct him to there to pick the questions from there. Yeah. Okay. Okay, sir. Okay. So audience, you're free to ask your question. We'll pass it across to him. So my own question is the app, the MediFriend app. How do we get access to it? Maybe we want to download it. Sometimes you may want to ask questions. You don't want to go to hospital so that you can just get to know what is happening. So how do we get this app? Yes, we know it's still work in progress, but we can see what it's doing here. So how do we get this app, our speaker? Dr. Noah, you can just push that across to him. Then any other person, if you have any question, raise your hands, and then we will pick you for you to ask. That the question will be directed to him. Okay, can we hear that? Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, you heard what I said. Okay, so let's let him answer the first question. Then we'll pick another person. Dr. Noah is sending that to him. He will answer. Then another person can ask.
Hello, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, they said I can. So like I said, this is an ongoing project, and I hosted it online not quite long, but the idea is to move it from web application to a mobile app. But at first, I want to make sure that all the features expected on this website are working fine. For example, I want user to be able to log in so that we can track your last conversation with the system. You know what your last discussion was. Probably if you were talking about medicine for headache, and when you log in the next time and say what is the best medicine, then we can know that okay, you are still referring to headache and not a particular disease. So that is what we are working on presently. I'm working on adding some of these features and convert it to a mobile app so that everybody can have it on their phone and on the go. If there is something you need to search about a disease, you can easily check this. But something I want to bring out is this is not a replacement for your doctor. Is Don't see it as like I said from the beginning. I said AI is not always 100% right. So don't see it as a replacement for your doctor. So always consult your doctor, but probably you need a question from medical students. You have information about a particular disease. You can go there and search this information. So, but for now, you can get it on this URL that they are projecting here. You can check the website there, and you can also suggest. You can see, you can send message to me. If you go to my first name dot last name at minnesota.edu, then you can give suggestions. I'm still getting suggestions for how to improve the application.
Okay, thank you, sir. So Eze, you can go ahead and ask your question. Eze. Just unmute yourself and ask the question. Eze, are you talking? Yeah, President, you can ask.
Okay, now I can now. It was my bank was disabled. So my question is,
Okay.
for the search point, if it's possible when we search, can it also reflect the data on that particular disease, like the trend of measles, like trend of measles in the United States now? If we decide to put like we are putting like measles in the search points, will it also reflect the data from measles? Thank you.
All right. The question will be directed to him. So next person can ask.
Am I permitted to ask now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much for the lecture. I am Dr. Mike Udam from Ogoja, Cross River State. I am excited with the lesson. I want to ask on the issue of data. You know, diseases and the area of localization play a key role in data analysis. If the individual in Nigeria, if this site or this app or this AI is also training with data from Nigeria.
Hello, if you can still hear me, there's a question I just received. Somebody said if there's I'm so sorry, I can't.
Okay, sir, you can hold on. Let him answer. Sir, you continue, sir. Let him answer because he can't hear us.
Okay, now that he's preparing to answer, can I just ask so that I can just be sure that I'm done?
All right, sir.
Let me answer the first question. I received the question now, and they said, "Well, if there is, if you search for measles or a kind of any type of disease, will it come with the stats, information about the disease and things like that?" Like I said, AI is all about data. I mean, machine learning is all about training the system with an existing data. So if part of the materials we used in training this model is available on the knowledge in the knowledge base, definitely it comes with the stats. So it comes with the stats. So probably if there's certain information that are not available and you want the stats, we can always include that. We can look for, because like I said, it's all about data. All we have to do is to look for materials that have materials that have these stats, so that when you search for certain information, you get the stats from the materials. Because it's retrieving all this information from the materials we train this model with. And to the second question, the person says something about data, and let me quickly listen to that and I will respond to that.
Can I go ahead now? Hello, sir.
So
yes, Mr. Mike.
The second question
Let's
now
wait.
is talking about the
Hold on,
data,
Mr. Mike.
about using if it's the same data they use in different countries is applicable in Nigeria and so on and so forth. We can build a system that is localized or like that is applicable to Nigeria if we have the existing data. For example, there are some diseases that are not common in certain countries. So you rarely see their researchers working on those diseases. But in Nigeria, probably it's a common disease. But the problem there is we don't invest in this in AI like all this developed world. And that if it's a disease that is common to them in America, you see them invest more in that. Like cancer now, diabetes, you see a lot of fund. People, researchers partners with hospitals, to get data. You see data as big as 20 gigabytes of data, just the scan of brain images to detect brain tumor. But if the disease you are working on, let's say you want to build a model that can predict disease, is also applicable in Nigeria, you can as well use the data from anywhere in the world, because all that we are doing as a machine learning expert is that we are training a model using certain features. For example, if a medical practitioner wants to detect if a brain has cancer now, he will just look at some features in that brain, in that MRI scan, to see, okay, there are certain features to predict that, okay, this brain or your brain scan has tumor. So it's the features that the model is picking. So if there's no available data in Nigeria, you can decide to use an existing data somewhere. Just, we know that what we are looking for is if this features is available. If I train my model to say, okay, this feature is, if I detect these features or these things within this scan, then the brain has cancer. So you can decide to use any data from anywhere. But like I said, we need to invest in our own in infrastructure in Nigeria, such that we have a system somewhere, a database, big database somewhere owned by the government, where people can retrieve information, especially diseases that are peculiar to our own region, or you are doing a research that is restricted to our region. So government who can come up with things like this to develop an infrastructure that will support getting information.
All right, Mr. Mike, you can go ahead and ask a question.
Yes, I think he got a part of it, but I think what I think I would rather give him a technical advice, and it should be noted that he will still need, since he's in Nigeria and he's in the US, yeah, hello?
Mr. Mike.
Okay, sorry, it's about raining here.
We can't hear you again from your end.
Sorry, it's about reading here. I will hang up.
Yes, it's back now. Yeah, we can hear you now.
What I was saying is that I wanted to give him a technical advice that since machine learning has to do with data training, if you don't train with the data in Nigeria, then the AI is producing is going to be best used for only those who are in America, because disease has to be related with the area of localization. That's the first thing. Then the second and very important is that the earlier he opens the door for collaboration, drop his email so that we can continue from there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. We got that. You're actually right in that regard. All right. Who else is raising hand again?
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to thank you very much. Thank you, presenter. I wanted to ask that so now, like data from district health information system for Nigeria, issues that has to do with like maternal mortality, malnutrition, can I use data? Can I use that data to actually model the research problem using this AI? Can I do that?
Okay, your question will be sent to him. All right, who's next there? Who is asking again? Feel free. Go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, guys.
Yeah, good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Ebenezer.
Okay. I don't know if we are checking the question and answer box. I already dropped my question there, or should I go over it again? But I drop in the it's a bit lengthy. I drop in the question and answer box.
Okay, just go ahead and summarize. Dr. Noah can pick it from there. If can copy.
Okay. So basically my question is around AI and data and technology generally. Because when the presenter was presenting, I picked something from what he was saying about the government involvement in AI, in generating data and in technology generally. And to me, it seems that there is little to what individuals we can do if there is no support from the government, because the government have a major role to play. We can see all these developed countries, these foreign countries, we see the effort their governments are making towards technology, towards development of AI, the funds they are giving. In fact, they are even sending funds to African countries for stuff like this. By the end of the day, the funds don't get to the users. Someone somewhere we see corner the funds. We know how it works in the part of the world. So my question is, if the government in this part of the world are not ready to help, then what is our hope in meeting up with all these developed countries? Like, is it that we are doomed? Is it that for us to achieve our goal, we have to probably migrate to all these other countries for us to be able to probably key into all this area of technology?
All right. Your question will be sent to him. Thank you for that. Okay. Is that all? Who else is there with a question? And then when he starts talking, then we'll just pause. And in the meantime, you can drop your names and your email in the question and answer icon for subsequent updates. I was supposed to have told you that since. Drop your names, your email, so that when we have updates, we can actually share to you directly. All right, we'll pick them from there. So let's wait for him to. If you have any other question, you can feel free to ask. I'm sure Dr. Noah is getting those questions across to him.
I believe I can answer some of the questions now. Professor said I can go ahead. I'm not sure if I can because I'm still not hearing you. Yes. So the first question, the advice, yes, I will work on that. but at the same time, there are some diseases that are common to, the whole world, which you want to ask any questions on cancer, on HIV, and so on and so forth, while some are local diseases, which, like I said, AI is all about training, machine learning is all about training your model with certain data. So if the data is available, definitely I'm going to consider, I'm going to consider working more on getting the data and use it to train this particular model. That's one of the questions. And I think somebody also mentioned something about if the government is not working, not doing anything about AI, what can we do? And from the presentation, I said we all have our roles to play. There are some people at the top that that are still behind, or they don't know much about AI. If some of us have access to them, there are some, people in people that are working in Nsdabie, people that are a member of Computer Professional of Nigeria, Nigerian Computer Society. So we need to, talk more about this AI. We need to, present this AI to them, write proposal. Actually, I understand, because I'm a Nigerian, actually, obviously. I understand the fact that they are not investing or putting grants on this, in developing AI. But the question is, it's not that I'm supporting any government, but how many grants, or how many proposals have you written to government that they have denied? So we as individuals as well, I know how it works actually, but we as Nigerians, we still need to take the step, write proposal. If not government, we can even submit to individuals. Like the year that I won the Tony Elumelu grant, I didn't know anybody there. I didn't know Tony Elumelu myself. I just submitted the proposal for smart irrigation system, and it was approved. you know. So we as individuals too must act, we must enlighten some of these leaders to make sure they know, they are enlightening on AI, what AI is, how we can use AI to develop the nation. Start from your local governments, your state governments, before the, talk about, because it is, even universities here, not, you see some private companies coming to universities to invest in certain projects. You see certain hospitals coming to universities and tell them, okay, take this money. We want you to help us build a model that can detect cancer. Do you understand? So it's not only governments. You can approach individual. If you have an idea on AI, you send to them and see if they will accept the proposal. So we as individuals must act and hope that the government will also, do their best. So I think I've answered the questions. I'm not so sure, but a few of the questions that I received, I think I've answered. And Professor Noatu can help me with some of the questions if he can answer from his side, because I'm still finding it difficult to, hear. So he can also buttress the point, can, provide more information. He's still a researcher in Nigeria. He has, maybe if he has certain challenges that he has faced while submitting certain proposals in machine learning or AI, he can also share his view on this.
Adekunle, go ahead. Go ahead, Adekunle. I'll mute your mic and go ahead. Adekunle. Hello, any more questions?
Okay.
Does anyone still have?
My mic was disabled. I don't know the reason why, but I think, can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes,
Good.
you can hear.
So
We can hear you.
it was disabled. It was disabled earlier. So thank you very much. The to the presenters. I think this is a great one, and I think if you can be having some stuff like this, maybe a quarterly of stuff like that, it will really help the way people understand stuff. It will awake people's knowledge and give a lot of things. So I know a lot of people in Nigeria that have ventured into AI, and they've a lot of locally made AI that's working perfectly well and is still being in existence and still being used in mathematics, in law. I have some friends that build AI in law and stuff like that. But I want to ask you, I've been asking these questions, and I think that's one of the bottleneck that a lot of people are going through. I don't know, maybe you have better understanding from where you had here. Most of the data generated program for the AI to train the machine with, most of them are the one that are prepared for the specific purpose. So, and this most of the time, this support, this boot support, they are limited. So you have some questions, they won't give you the specific information, they won't be able to guide you. So I want to ask, is there any development, or is there any ways that we can plug in data from dark web or data from mid sync, so that it's not only getting data from what you know, or getting data, because there are some data that are still in pipeline that are not released in for everybody in the Google or something like that. Can we still have a way to, is there a way to expand the reach of data more than what we are getting now? Because there is a lot of limited effort in information gathered with the support of AI.
Okay. All right. Let's wait for him to answer this. I think there are two questions. One has been sent. Let him see it, and then this one will be sent. Will be sent rather. After which, I think we'll try and draw the curtains. So let's wait for him to get the questions and answer.
So let me, excuse me, let me answer one of the questions. I believe you can still hear me. Somebody said if it's possible to use data from, child, the mortality rate and things like that. Yes, if it's available and it's big enough to train your data, you can use it. If the data is big enough, because you must have enough data, and not just, you have data from, let's say, 5, 10 patients, and you want to use that will not be enough. So you need to take your time, get enough data from, different hospitals, not even one hospital, get from different hospitals and use that to train your data. And, big data is very important. Your data must be big enough for you to train that particular model. AI is all about, it's like learning. Like when we were young, and there are some things you learn when you were small, and you learn more until you get to a certain age that you can say, okay, you are a master of this field or master of this area. So that's how AI too works. Your AI will be good if you have enough data. So if the data is available in Nigeria, definitely you can use it and localize it to Nigeria. And the second question, I'm just listening to it now because of my system here. So let me give the last question to Professor Noah to answer that, because I'm still listening to it, and I don't know. He can start with the answer, and if I hear the question very well, then I can give you answer to it. But Professor Noah can assist with that as well.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. At this point, we'll have to draw the curtains. I know he can't hear us, but of course, we'll convey the message to him. We really appreciate this time. We appreciate our speaker, Mr. Yusuf, for the time well spent, for the exposition and all that. We appreciate you for staying to this point in time. Audience all over the world, we are grateful. So our next meeting will be coming up next month. July 12th. The FCT chapter will be hosting us. Then a week after, we have a lady from UK that will be, gracing our webinars, our national webinar. So on the 12th and 19th, just brace yourself and get ready. So thank you very much. Thank you for Dr. Noah. Thank you for the role you've played. You really helped us. Thank you for the platform, the team's platform as well. Thank you for the BOT members behind the scenes, Mr. Echido, Madam Fatima, the chairman, and then the facilitators, my ESCO, the committee, the planning committee. Thank you, the president, for your role, the co-host, and every other person. Thank you for making this, a success. We are grateful. We are getting better. It's a gradual thing. We will definitely get better than this. I God, thank you. So to in July 12th, bye-bye for now. But we'll round it up with a prayer, national anthem as well. So we can play the national anthem to round it up. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Yusuf. Thank you so much. We are so much grateful for the time taken to deliver this an exciting session. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Amen. You're welcome. The national anthem. Okay. All right. Technicalities. So I will just read the last stanza to just close it down. O God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
All right. Have a nice day, sir.
Yeah, you too, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.